Happy Wednesday, all you fabulous freight masters out there. For those of you that may be new to the channel, my name is Tim. And today's video, I really do have some free shipper leads for you guys. It's something that I haven't really done in a while. This time, I'm not going to, make it like a contest and the first 5 people that reach me or the 10 people, whatever. I'm just going to show you some ways of finding actually some of your own shipper leads, and I'm going to provide you with a couple as well. So that being said, I have a couple things that I want to talk about. One is I see all these scammers, telemarketers. I probably had, I don't know, half a dozen of them by 8 a.m. this morning calling me, scammers, right? If you're afraid to pick up the phone, that might be the reason why you're not getting as many customers, right? Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, the kind of old school rule of thumb is that, you prospect 100 customers a day, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily have to hold true, but it's a kind of a rough number, right? You can be a little bit less, a little bit more. But especially when you're first starting out, you should be, that phone should never stop, right? These scammers are beating you, right? They're very diligent about making those calls, calling you, calling your neighbor, everybody else, right? So we have to be working as hard as these scammers and telemarketers. Now, that being said, the next thing that I want to talk to before I get into the free shipper leads is that when you're making these cold calls, as I've mentioned multiple times over some of these sales videos, is that you need to separate yourself from the rest of the pack, right? Don't try to always prospect, the gatekeeper, things like this. Do your homework, do your research, find out who your contact is, right? Ask for them by name. That really helps when getting past the gatekeeper. And also by having their name when you call, and sometimes they have that automated system, right? You can type in the person's last name on your phone and it'll take you directly to them, or they might have the option of reaching the logistics department when you press 3 or whatever, right? But we want to separate ourselves from the rest of the pack. Why? Because we're not just going to go, hey, I'm a broker. Could I get put on your available loads list? Not all freight works that way. It's a very, very general type thing. And you also don't want to come on too strong, right? I've actually listened in over the years on some cold calls, and they have this script. I really don't like scripts. If you need to use one, you're first starting out, hey, that's fine. It's not life or death, but it'll oftentimes sound kind of orchestrated, right? It'll sound like you're reading from a script, but you can start out that way, and I actually had a script when I started out, and I actually got a couple of customers doing, using a script. I don't think the success rate is quite as high as it is, versus once you get kind of comfortable making sales calls. But one thing you have to remember when making your calls is how working with you benefits them, right? Remember that. If you call a prospective shipper, what are you going to tell them that benefits them? Right? So it's something to kind of remember. Ask questions. Get them talking, right? How are your volumes? Are they up or are they down? How many lanes are you running? Where do you predominantly ship to, right? Some of this information you might not, have. Excuse me. I'm having a tough time talking today, guys, so I apologize. Got a little bit of a tickle in my throat, I guess. So bear with me, okay? But maybe how many lanes they're running, what areas they ship to more often, what's going on with them, what does the future look like? Are they going to be pulling back on the amount of freight that they're shipping? Are they going to be shipping more, over the next several months? Things like that. Get that information. I know, a lot of us, we get kind of eager to start closing, on that first phone call, but it doesn't always work out that way. So sometimes that soft approach can be beneficial, and then do your follow-ups, right? As I've mentioned, one of my biggest shippers, it took me a year before I moved that first load. I'm not saying every customer is going to be that way. And sometimes they'll flat out tell you, yeah, I'll work with you, but I'm going to see how eager you are. And this is why follow-ups are so important, right? Because they want to know that you're not just a one and done, chump that, yeah, I made the phone call. Yeah, I said I'd work with you. You emailed me over your packet, your credit application and things. But then are you following up with me? How concerned, how much do you value that relationship? Right. And this isn't just for you brokers and you broker agents. This is for you owner operators and fleet owners, right? That are out there trying to get your own direct freight. I hope that I never come across as, segregating like, oh, this is just for brokers. Oh, this is just for carrier. A lot of the information, especially when it comes to sales, it relates, your approach might be a little bit different, but the idea is the same, right? I hope that sort of summarized that. Now, on to the free shipper leads. Now, in one of my recent videos, I brought up about kind of as a remembrance that we always want to be prospecting, especially if you're chasing seasonal products, items, things like that, is to always try to think a few months out, right? So like right now, you want to be like, I pulled up Christmas tree shippers, for example. Don't be afraid to use Google, okay? There's plenty of shippers out there. And on the next one that I'm going to show you, there's actually like directories, lists, right? This is all stuff that I've talked about in previous videos. So if you want some more information on that, we actually have it broken down on the YouTube channel. You can actually go to the sales videos, and that will help you a little bit further. But here's a few examples, right? So I just looked up Christmas tree shippers because we're getting to that time of year. We're late summer, early fall. So we really want to be prospecting these types of shippers right now. So for instance, by the semi load, right? So there you go. If you're, and we can find out where they're at, Willamette Valley near Oregon's major transport corridor. We can get their address and all of that. But if you're a carrier, open deck, I think they sometimes move this on like dry vans. You could be reaching out if you're based in that Oregon area, right? And say, hey, I'm 30 miles away. When you have available loads for your Christmas trees, hey, give me a call, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, that you're shipping from Oregon to Florida or anything like that. It might be Oregon to Washington, Oregon to California, Oregon to, Idaho, wherever, Ohio, Michigan, but there's all kinds of places like this. You just have to reach out, right? Sometimes these have like, I actually haven't looked, but like sales, for instance, okay? We maybe would want to get a hold of a salesperson and find out like, hey, when do you start your shipping season? Are you shipping to independent retailers? Are you shipping to Lowe's, Home Depot, right? We've all seen them. Okay, good point. Just be mindful, Christmas trees are an exempt commodity. Be sure if working with a broker, you vet that broker out good. Thank you for that. I should have brought that up, but this is why you guys are here, right? We all share information and help each other out, right? We're a community. So thank you so much for that. So, it looks like they ship wreaths, all different kinds of stuff here, right? So like if we go back, there's all kinds of stuff. Look up in your general area right here. I'm in northern Michigan, so there's all these tree farms here. Okay, so if you're a new broker agent, maybe you're struggling with freight right now, and you're looking for a little bump. Christmas trees, yeah, I mean, get down on them, right? And the next thing I'm going to talk about, this is something that's going to help you if you tend to suffer financially through the January, February lull, right? We've brought this up before. Give me one moment while I switch over here. Oh, why did that not do that? Why is my screen not switching? Here. Should I just tap instead? Go back over here. Oh, my bad. Wrong tab. So, produce, right? So, wintertime, a lot of your root vegetables, potatoes, onions, carrots, things like this. We want to be prospecting those customers now, right? Some of that is already starting to ship now, but it's going to ship all through the winter season. So maybe you ship like corn, I don't know, whatever, other seasonal types of produce. There's directories and things on here. Here's an exporters and suppliers directory. You can break this down: frozen, dehydrated, table stock, refrigerated, and then seed potatoes. Those are typically like bulk or toted, right? So there's all these shippers right here for you guys, right? So if you're a vented van, maybe a refrigerated carrier, broker agent, broker, whatever. Maybe some of these might be right in your, in your area, but it breaks it all down. Hello. So guys, don't be afraid to use Google. Look up directories, especially when you're chasing seasonal type produce, right? Here's another one. There's companies that are listed. Sweet potatoes, that's another one. I think my buddy Mike brought up about the Carolinas is big for sweet potatoes as well, right? So he's an owner operator, super great guy. But yeah, there's Allied potato chip. Some of these companies supply potato chip companies. Well, that's kind of a year-round thing. So again, don't be afraid to check that out. And there's actually what is it? The produce market guide. Bear with me one moment. I should have pulled this up for you guys, but it's one that I've talked about before. And I don't know why I didn't think about it. Market guide. There we go. Get over here, and then I will switch to this tab. Okay, so for those of you that maybe haven't gotten into produce, want to get into produce, whatever it is, we can search by location. So let's just say you are in, I don't know, Arkansas, okay? And you are looking for, well, I don't know, cooking vegetables, right? Oh, and by the way, did you see how many shippers were there that it listed? 49,662 companies, right? 83,842 contacts. I mean, come on, guys. It's just a little legwork. But look at this. All of the areas. Oh, did I accidentally click on Arizona? These might be just random companies that are. But there's corn, onions, pumpkins. We talked about. Okay, we talked about sweet potatoes. Come on. We just gotta wait. My computer's running slow today for some reason. Okay, so here we go. Here's sweet potato shippers, right? All of these contacts, right? All of these prospects. And then they've got all this data here for you. It just takes a minute. how it's shipped, how it's handled. So when you call, right, and like say maybe you are a reefer carrier that's never shipped potatoes before, you can maybe reiterate to your prospect. So just to assume you're running these at like 55, 60 degrees, maybe you're a new broker looking to get into it. You arm yourself with this information. It's going to help you when you make those calls. You're going to come across more educated, more reliable, because they're like, oh, they already know what sweet potatoes, what temperature they need to ship at, right? They're going to know that you're familiar with shipping that type of product. I mean, why would they turn over $100,000 load of potatoes to just any slug off the street, right? So all of this information is very, very handy when you're making those calls. So this was just going to be kind of a quick video for you guys. Should I call or cold email? Okay. I don't think there's any real right or wrong answer to this. However, I personally feel that cold calling is more effective than emailing. For one, sometimes you can't always get the correct email. Some companies have like email blockers on them. If they don't already have your contact added in their system, it just won't go through, right? So it's always better to call, kind of, and again, utilize LinkedIn. Look up these companies, find out who the contact person is, who the transportation department manager is, or supervisor, whoever, right? But yeah, do a little bit of homework on these places. Reach out to them, ask for them by name. It doesn't take much. I mean, I did this very, very quickly. You guys can do the same thing. There's sort of the $1 million question, right? What's the best way to avoid rejection? I don't think there's any magic bullet answer for that. I don't really consider any call complete rejection until they tell me to stop calling. Right? If it's a prospect that I really want, I will call them every day. Okay. And I'm gonna use this example. I've talked about it in other videos. My uncle, when he was young, I believe he was like maybe like a freshman in high school or something, sophomore maybe. I don't remember exactly, but he was younger. My family lived close to the Kellogg's factory in Michigan, and so he showed up and talked to the guy that was in charge of hiring and kept asking him for a job. He's like, no, don't have a job for you, kid. He went there every single day till finally the guy said, do you know how to push a broom? I'm getting tired of seeing you, waiting for me on the front steps here every morning, So that persistence pays off, right? So awesome. Yeah, let me know. And I'll, maybe I'll keep trying to come up with some more free prospect resources for you guys. But again, don't forget to look up, any kind of directories. Like, let's just say you're looking for, I don't know, chicken. Let's chicken suppliers. Oops, I can't spell today. Chicken suppliers in USA, right? Maybe you're into meats and things. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate what you're doing. It's really helping me as a new broker. I have my license and have not been reaching out. Yeah, again, if the telemarketers are out there doing it, they wouldn't be doing it if they weren't making money, right? So we need to be. If we don't do it, somebody else will. Right? It's just a simple fact of the matter. And because a lot of us work on commission, we're not on salary, things like that, we have to be making those calls. So moving on. Find supplier, USA Poultry and Eggs Export Council. So there's all these companies, right? Right here. There's turkeys, Associated Metal Trading Company. You know what I'm saying? And it might just be just a very simple lead, some of them. but there's other ones. Thomas Net, right? They've got all of these places. Vanny Foods Company out of Oak Brook, Illinois. So if you're a carrier, owner operator, broker agent, broker, and you're looking for freight out of the Oak Brook, Illinois area, hey, they do private label, contract manufacturing, all of that stuff, right? It just takes a quick couple, and you guys probably faster at typing than I am. My hands are all, because I'm old. Watt Poultry, top U.S. broiler companies. What is this? Here's the top 10 poultry companies in the U.S., right? Tyson, Pilgrim, Sanderson, Purdue. You guys can read, right? So, yeah, just utilize your resources, right? Speaking of resources, again, everybody, if you need factoring, if you need DAT load board, again, DAT's promotion changed. They're no longer doing the first month free. It's actually more beneficial this way for everybody as well. If you're a new customer, they're giving you 10% off every month for your first year, which actually, regardless of what package you decide on, you end up saving more money over the long run. If you need a TMS, if you need to reach out to me directly, if you're making your calls, if you're doing 100 calls a day and you're like, Tim, it's still not happening for me, email me. Okay, I don't ever want to see anybody get left behind. Here's my email again for everybody. I watched that email diligently. So like I said, expect a response from me probably inside of 30 minutes. Okay. And now, unless you email me at 2 a.m. or something, I have to sleep sometime too, right? But these leads are all around us, right? There's always going to be freight. Okay. There's no reason why anybody should be struggling. So if you are, and this isn't enough, right? Because I only have so much time to do some of these videos, reach out to me. We can maybe set up a time, day to have a phone call. If it's urgent, let me know. Hey, can you call me or something? We can discuss some things that way. Right here, here's another one. The 2018, which obviously is a few years old, but it's probably still going to hold predominantly true. Top 100 meat and poultry processors, right? Look at this. All of these, 100. It's kind of like the old yellow pages. Let your fingers do the walking, right? Google's doing half the work for you. All you gotta do is type in the right search query. So, that being said, you're very welcome. Everybody, hey, and this is, I try to provide this information, resources for everybody. If you need more, thetruckersresource.com, freightbrokerresources.com. We've got information on there, promo links, things like that. If you need to save some money on anything, again, the factoring, load boards, TMS, all of that stuff. If you're looking for industry news, we've got that on there. And if you need something else additional on top of, again, email me, freightmasterresources@gmail.com. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, awesome rest of your week. That being said, I'm going to sign off. I wish you all well, and as always, be kind to one another. Bye-bye now.